Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. When was the last time you were really afraid? I mean, the kind of fear that it either makes your heart feel like it's going to stop or it's going to pound right out of your chest. I had been married 16 years the first time whenever I realized it just wasn't going to work. The counseling, the therapy, the separation, it just wasn't improving things. So I was going back to the house that we shared. I was going to get some of my things to move out that weekend. My soon-to-be ex had been served with the divorce papers that day. And when I got there, walked into the house, he was sitting there in the living room with his hands on the shotgun that were in his lap, and every picture that we had ever taken over the 16 years of our marriage was spread out on the floor around him. I knew that was a very dangerous situation. I was able to get myself out, and it took the SWAT team about 14 hours to get him out without anyone else getting hurt. Danger is whenever your physical well-being is threatened. Now fast forward to about 12, maybe even 15 years into the future. And I have two very close family members that are absolutely at odds with each other. There had been terrible things that were done, and they could not come to an agreement on how to move forward while still being in a family relationship with each other. And I was caught in the middle. And I was being asked to take sides. And instead of standing up for my truth and what I thought would be the best experience for everybody, instead I decided to placate. I decided to try to play mediator. I put what would have been right for me on the back burner because my mind thought that I was right back into that danger situation to where my physical well-being was at stake. And it wasn't. I was in a fear state. That's the one thing I want you to get from today. Is that whenever you're in a dangerous situation, your powerful mind can then take that on as what's known as an imprint. And then it will filter all future experiences that have the same tone of emotions through that imprint, and it thinks that you're in danger again and that your physical well-being is being threatened when actually you're in a fear state, and fear state says your quality of life is being questioned. They are completely different. I've been in a dangerous situation. I was 5 years old whenever I was in a plane crash. Fast forward to my 30s. I'm in a corporate career where I have to fly every single month for a year. And I thought I was in danger on every single flight, but I wasn't. I was experiencing fear because when you're in fear, you can actually use that for your benefit. I was out in the ocean whenever I was 15, floating on a raft when I had an experience with a shark. And then every time I went into the water after that for a number of years, I thought I was in danger all over again. Danger will hold you back from discovering who you really are, just how strong you can be, the focus for fulfillment, the actions that you can take, because you're in a continual low-level state of fear, anxiety, stress, and overwhelm. So the one thing I want you to understand is that there is a difference between danger and fear. Danger says that you are physically being threatened. Fear says your quality of life is being questioned. And you can actually use fear to your advantage when you understand how to do it. That's what I want to assist you with today. Danger says you need to get through the experience as whole as you can. This past summer, I went whitewater rafting. The raft flipped while we were going over some rapids. I got caught underneath. That was a danger situation. After we flipped it, and at one point they were afraid that they were going to have to do a body recovery instead of a rescue because they couldn't find me. Once they got a hold of me and I got back in the raft, I had to shift quickly from a danger experience into fear optimization so I could actually enjoy the rest of the whitewater rafting trip. Okay. Let's talk about how you can begin to flip it. Okay. 3 phases of fear: fight, flight, or freeze. Fight says you need to stand up for something, that you have a value, you have a focus, you have an experience, and you believe in it enough that you're going to stand up for it. You're not going to allow the world or the situation to deny you from what you want to be. Now, you have to pick your battles. Not everything needs to be a fight. Then there's fight, then there's flight. It just says, you know what? You cannot improve on this situation, so you need to get out of the experience. It is not going to serve you. There is no way that you can turn this for your benefit, and it is okay for you to leave. There was a boss. At one point, I was a welfare mom many, many years ago. And I had a job that I had to have to be able to feed my 2 boys. And I had a boss who decided to take advantage of that and ask me to do extra work that I was not going to be compensated for. That was in a dangerous situation because if I lost that job, I was going to lose the ability to be able to keep the lights on for my family. Okay. But I had to turn that quickly into fear and say, you know what? I need to get something else. I can't stay here and make this any better. So I had to take it from danger and then begin to downgrade it and take it into fear. I can't fight against him. I am not going to win. So what is it that I need to do to be able to move forward? And it was getting out of that situation. There are times you are supposed to leave. And then there's freeze. Freeze is when your mind has thought that it is in another dangerous situation, but it doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know how to move through it. And so you actually stall your own progress. When people reach out to me and go, I'm stuck, I'm struggling, I can't figure out why I can't move forward, that's because they experienced a danger imprint at one point in their life, and now they're being triggered in a similar way, but the mind doesn't have the skill set to be able to get through, and so they freeze. And then the powerful part of their mind, known as the subconscious, thinks it's doing its job because it must experience high levels of emotion. In fact, for you to experience a bump in the quality of your life, you have to have peak emotions. Fear is a peak emotion. So the subconscious is going, oh, we're doing something that we're supposed to be doing because we've got these peak emotions turned on. And then it starts looking for all the people, places, and things to turn on those peak emotions, even though it happens to be a dysfunctional emotion. So the reason why you have a challenge moving forward out of freeze into fight or flight is because you didn't experience what's known as transfer of authority. Transfer of authority is where you've been given the tools physically, emotionally, and mentally to be able to give your pain a purpose, to be able to move forward. That's the pain has to have a reason for being. And if it doesn't, then you're going to continue to freeze and be locked into experiences that continue to trigger you and hook you into freezing. Oh, by the way, who am I to assist you with all of this? If you're new to my world, Dawn Ferguson, I am a certified hypnotist. My role is not to tell you what to think. It's to teach you how to reveal your potential, your power, and your success by optimizing your focus, your emotions, and implementing actions for improvement. I'm also a certified instructor. I train others to do this, and I'm a rapid results coach. And that part means that I want you to experience same-day results. This is not something that should take years or months or weeks or even days. Your life should be improved starting now. Okay. This is actually part of a 3-section series on how to upgrade you in your life. Part 1 was called Free Yourself from Bad Beliefs. So if you want to go back and listen to the first 3 tips on what you believe, what you're focusing on for fulfillment, and then today we're going to add on to it. Okay, number 4. Opposing emotional experiences cannot be held at the same time. It is known as the nap. What does this mean? Again, these are rules on how your very powerful mind, known as the subconscious, operates. And these rules cannot be broken. It's kind of like gravity. You can go, oh, I don't believe in it. Go ahead, tie the towel around your neck as a cape, jump off the roof, and gravity's going to go, don't care. Come meet me. It's the same way with your subconscious. The subconscious says, don't care what you think, all the affirmations you chat, all the goals that you write down, and the pretty picture boards that you make. We're going along with these rules. So you've got to learn to use them as a foundation and a pedestal that you will then use to push you into your next level of success instead of trying to drag yourself up the pyramid of power. Okay, so opposing emotional experiences cannot be held at the same time. You cannot be in a fear state and try to calm yourself down. It will only be temporary, and what your subconscious mind is really hearing is that you need to freeze. Instead, you need to use that emotion, that peak experience, and say, this is what I'm going to do with it. This is how I'm going to move forward. I don't need to be calmed down. I need to be energized. I need to be moving forward. I need to be moving up. So that's what you need to do, is decide how you're going to use the electricity. I touched on this earlier. The subconscious mind must have intense emotional experiences for peak performance. So it is going to seek out the things that turn you on. Now, they can light up your brilliance, or they can turn on the switch to your absolute terror. It doesn't matter. And remember, you're going by previous imprints where you were actually in danger. But now you need to let the powerful part of your mind know that that was then, this is now, and this is how you're going to use it. So the reason why it's called the nap is that the calm, the serenity, the tranquility, or the abject, oh, I got to do something with this. One of them is going to have to go to sleep for a while. you're going to have to decide which one it is. For most people, they will try to dampen down the fear using an outside substance. Maybe it's food. This is where you can be drawn to breads and pastas and pretzels and chips, those empty carbs, because they actually soothe you down. Or you can medicate yourself with too much social media, or alcohol, other types of drugs that are going to have a soothing sensation that will put the fear to sleep, but it's only for a little bit. And you already know it's going to show back up. And now you're going to have to do something with it, which means more of your drug of choice, or you're actually going to use it. For me, when it shows up, I've already done the work utilizing hypnosis that accesses the part of the mind known as the subconscious. And I've said, install the habit that when fear shows up, we automatically know, should we use it to fight, to move forward, because we will not be denied on our goals, or do we need to flee the situation because it is going to be a lose situation for ourselves? We're going to regroup. The whole adage, if you got knocked down, get back up. I'm going to tell you, if you get knocked down, don't get back up until you know how you're going to do it better. So, hey, I need to get out of this situation. I need to regroup, and I need to be able to move in a minimum of 24 hours back into the game of life that I'm setting up to win in a way that's going to bring me out at my very best. Peak emotions. Remember that. Whether they're functional or dysfunctional, the subconscious mind will seek out peak emotions. So, the experience then is one where you're going to figure out how to use it to bring yourself out at your very best. Oh, by the way, this is important. What I'm going over today, if you're joining me live, catching the replay, give me hashtag September Success down below with your takeaway from today, and you will be put into a drawing to win a $100 gift certificate with me that can be used towards any of my products, programs, or services. If you're catching this on my podcast, Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire, in the description of the podcast will be the link of where you can go to be able to give me your takeaway from today, again with hashtag September Success. Okay, now let's move into number 5 of 10. By the way, I'm going to be doing in a couple of days the final piece of this, to where we're going to go over the last 4 that are going to help you upgrade who you really are, so you can create the life that you desire and deserve. Number 5. Once an emotional experience has been accepted by your powerful subconscious mind, it remains until it is replaced, also known as the vacuum. This means that you can't take out something without choosing its replacement. You can't take out an action. You can't take out a habit. You cannot take out an emotion. You cannot take out a belief unless you choose what's going to be put in its place. Have you ever heard people talk about, I stopped smoking and then I packed on 20 pounds. Yeah, smokers 20. Or could it be, broke up with that guy and found another one just like him? That's because the subconscious mind thinks that this is what you're supposed to experience. Remember that imprint that we discussed earlier? So it is continually scanning your environment through the RAS, the reticular activating system. And your RAS is responsible for finding everything in your environment that supports your emotionally dominant thoughts. Notice how I said emotionally dominant. You can have thoughts that have no emotion behind them, and the subconscious is not going to pay attention to them because the subconscious operates on electricity of emotions. No emotions, no operating. So you can think about something and have no emotional engagement to it, and the subconscious is not going to turn on any type of habit or focus or implementation to support it. But as soon as you add in the emotion, the subconscious is going, okay, yeah, here we go. So what is your RAS looking for? If you don't want to be broke, if you don't want to have the same poor quality relationships, if you don't want to be surrounded by people that will continue to take advantage of you, then you are going to need to describe to yourself the type of emotional experience you want in its place. So a lot of people go, well, these are the people that I want to surround myself with. No, it's not the people you want to surround yourself with. It's the emotions that you want to have. That's one of the major keys. So I want to be surrounded by these emotions that other people embody. That's what I want to be turned on by. So you can say, I don't want to have this, I don't want to have that. But until you choose the emotional experience you want to have in its place and how you're going to use fear whenever it shows up to tell you, oh my gosh, freeze. No, going to use it to either move me forward or to regroup and figure out how to do it better so I can move forward. Until you're going to optimize what's already in place and then decide what you want to replace it with, it's not going to happen. The reason why is the subconscious mind will not tolerate a vacuum. And you take something out, now you've left a hole there. And the subconscious mind says we need to fill that void. And it will fill it when you leave the subconscious mind up to its own devices. It can only choose what it's already experienced. So it'll go back to another painful problem. It is your conscious mind, it is your executive functioning center that must make the choice of what to replace it with. The subconscious can't do that. The subconscious and its role is to fulfill what has been picked with emotional optimization, not to pick. You get rid of something, you better choose what you want to replace it with, or the same bad experience is going to be changed out by the same bad experience, just a different situation. All right. Let's see. Oh, by the way, if this is making sense to you and you want to know how to take this even further, go to drewdawnferguson.com/WFW. Stands for Wealth from Within. That is a program that I put together that will teach you how to do this for yourself. You'll also have the option that if you want to engage with me and have me assist you so you can get to your results faster, quicker, and easier, I'm there also for that. But if you choose that, hey, you want to start with this program, it's there. It's at a very special savings, but that savings is getting ready to expire. So go to drewdawnferguson.com/WFW, stands for Wealth from Within. Number 6 of 10. Every emotional experience must have its physical counterpart. Every emotional experience that you go through puts off chemicals, and these chemicals then determine the actions that you take. It's what's known as the dance. For a dance to be effective, it needs to have two partners. And so the emotions must then pair up with your physical actions. This is the reason why we can have two people taking the same actions and one experiences outstanding results and the other person who took the very same actions is a dismal failure. That's because the one that is taking the actions that is outstanding, they're going to the peak of what it is they want to experience. They are using fear as a way to push them up. The other one who's taking the very same actions has allowed fear to push them down. And remember the RAS that we already talked about, because each of these rules builds on the one before it. The RAS says, I need to find everything in our world that is either going to lift me up or it's going to weigh me down. It has to be. The subconscious mind will not engage in something in a habitual way without having its physical counterpart. This is the reason why I tell people who are experiencing situational sadness. It's a word I'm supposed to be using instead of depression, because depression is a diagnosis code that says that you need to be on meds. And some people do. And some people need to stay on those meds. And then some people, because the subconscious mind always looks for the path of least resistance, are maybe using those medications when they do not need to. And then the subconscious mind is going, okay, what else do I need a medication for? Because it's already had that experience. So the subconscious mind will continue to seek out things that says this is how you're supposed to have life. Remember, fear says quality of life. What are you going to do about it when it's being questioned? And so you can either allow it to hold you down, that's that whole stuck and struggling, or you can use the fear, the stress, the anxiety, the overwhelm, even the depression, situational sadness as extra energy, because those are all peak experiences. So use them to actually rise you up. It's called emotional flooding. You know, when something gets flooded, it can overwhelm you, or you can get out on your paddle board, on your kayak, and you can ride the flood waters. My mom's down in Florida. I was laughing because it reminded me. Just last week, she got hit head on with the hurricane. Luckily, it was only a Category 2, but there was some extreme flooding. And at one point, she's texting me going, I'm watching the people paddleboard through my yard right now on the floodwaters. You can use it. The emotional flooding, you can ride it. Okay, so the dance. Every emotion has to have its physical counterpart. How are you experiencing transfer of authority to use that emotion to actually improve the quality of your life? What do you choose to emotionally experience? You are here for a reason. What are you here to experience? I'm going to tell you right now that everything in the universe seeks fuller expression, but we are the only life form that we know of that gets to choose how to experience that fuller expression. You can either experience more life as growth or decay. It's up to you. I'm here to assist you. 636-699-7791. If you want to explore further on how that might happen, you can also send me a text at that number or go to drewdawnferguson.com/WFW. Stands for Wealth from Within. You are here to make the world a better place, but in order to do that, you have to be better by turning your brilliance on even brighter. I'd be honored if I could assist you with that.